June 22nd, 2014. And the news out of New York is that Carmelo Anthony is opting out of his contract. He had 1 year left on his contract, and he could have stayed with the Knicks, but instead he opts out of the contract, and he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. He's going to test the free agent market, and that pretty much means he's as good as gone. If he was going to stay in New York, he would have worked things out there. He would just stayed in. He didn't have to opt out. And I think he's going to find some friendly waters, as many teams are interested in him. The top teams that look to be in the running to get Carmelo are Chicago, the Bulls, the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, and also the Miami, the Heat. That's right, the news out of Miami is that LeBron James has been talking to Carmelo, trying to see if he'll come to Miami and join in. Of course, that would mean a huge pay cut for Carmelo Anthony, and that's not very likely to happen. Of course, you see the teams out there like Houston, Dallas, and Chicago. All three of those are good alternatives in terms of winning a championship. The Rockets, especially, Dwight Howard, freaking James Harden, and Jeremy Lin. You add Carmelo Anthony to that mix, and watch out. That would be a pretty potent team there out in the West. Also, Dallas. I mean, you put them on Dallas. Dallas has lots of players. So, we'll see. Of course, Chicago has the advantage of being in the East. And the Bulls, even without Derrick Rose, without Luol Deng, they still were a competitive team this year. And Derrick Rose, his health could play, a factor in the decision making of where Carmelo ends up. If he's going to end up in Chicago or not, and how much money the Bulls are willing to throw at Carmelo. Whether they expect to get Derrick Rose, fully healthy. Will he ever be fully healthy? He keeps getting injured every time he comes back. So Chicago does make some sense. But Anthony actually is going to be taking somewhat of a pay cut regardless, being that he opted out. Because if he had stayed in New York, he would have been able to get more money, because he would have had a maximum contract of $129 million over 5 years. Whereas outside of New York, the biggest deal he's allowed to ink is $96 million over 4 years. I don't know how that works out. I mean, he's unrestricted. Why is that? But that's what they say. So he's going to be taking a pay cut anyway. And if you're going to take a pay cut, why not take a big pay cut and join LeBron down in Miami? Of course, the Heat fell to the Spurs in 5 games in the finals this year. They had won 2 back-to-back championships before losing this one, and they've been to 4 championships in a row, 4 finals in a row, winning 2. They lost the first one to Dallas, then they won the next 2, and then they now just bookended it with the loss to San Antonio. They're looking to get back to the finals for a 5th time. To do that, they are going to need somebody to come in. They can't just rely on the same crop of players, especially they got to be so tired of having so much extended play over the last 4 years. LeBron really could use, a break, a nice vacation. But Anthony, he's actually following in LeBron's footsteps, as LeBron was the last player to average over 27 points and then opt out of his contract. As Carmelo Anthony was the 2nd leading scorer for average points per game. The only player that scored more points per game than Carmelo Anthony in the last season of basketball was Kevin Durant. So he's the most potent scorer in the NBA other than Durant, and now he's available on the free agent market and could make any team a playoff team. You put him on any team, automatically they're going to get a lot of points per game, and they're going to definitely improve their small forward position by adding Carmelo Anthony, who actually he came on the draft same year as LeBron, so in that famous draft. We'll see where Carmelo Anthony ends up, as looks like he's going to be leaving the Big Apple. He'll be leaving New York. That's what all signs point towards. It's the only way you can really take this, him opting out of that contract. Say we'll be seeing Carmelo Anthony in a different jersey come the 2014-2015 season. We'll keep you updated. Let me know what you think. Where's Carmelo going to end up? What do you think of him leaving New York? Leave a comment down below, and I'll bring you more news and updates on Carmelo Anthony's status, along with more off-season news for basketball.